Without further ado, here in the top left-hand corner, in the red, it is BYUN. And in the bottom right, in the blue, give it up, it is Maru. All right, TBT, always a fun one. Always an interesting one. Curious to see what both of these players will do. They both are very phenomenal in the TBT matchup. BYUN has played a fair few TBTs recently. Still able to do his Reapers. Still able to play the tactical game. But can he have the strength to play against Maru? Now Maru is going to be going into a 2 gas into barracks. Looks like it's going to be about the same for BYUN as well, which will allow them to get that heavier tech, allow them to build up, and eventually they will expand, but at least have some kind of defense early on. Alrighty, SCB for Maru coming across the map. We'll give out a scout. Sees that there's no CC down yet. And does he get in? He doesn't go in. But he does see, basically whatever he needs. Factory coming down. Looks like Maru able to get it out just a split quicker. There we go. Reaper is out for Maru. BYUN has his Reaper out as well. Both players going into 2 Reapers. And we'll kind of see, do they want to play the aggressive game? Do they just want to sit back, build up, and then eventually go into kind of these tactical plays? Does look like Maru wants to take a CC. It is going to be delayed compared to BYUN's, who already has his down. And a lot of that is thanks to BYUN's Reaper just putting on the pressure. Second Reaper is out, going into that reactor, and behind this we do have the factory making the Hellion into starport for BYUN. Cyclone out, or is on its way out for Maru. So already seeing a little bit of a difference coming out. It's going to be Widow Mine and then kind of like Marine play from BYUN. Well, on the other side, we do have that Cyclone into Tech Lab. So maybe going straight into Raven. Interesting. Oh no, he's going to go Banshee. Alright, it's the second Cyclone on the way out for Maru. Finally, the first Cyclone for BYUN does pop out. And it's going to be a Marine Reaper Hellion drop. Just a mismatch of units coming across for BYUN as he wants to get some damage done. Now, Maru is going to start moving out with the Cyclone and with the Reapers. Oh, he's actually going to go back home. Interesting. Okay. Banshee coming through as well. We do see the medevac coming in. Cyclones will be able to get into position and try to help shut this off. Instantly trying to decide, does he want to send the Banshee back? Ooh. 3 SCVs do end up falling. And it looks like BYUN able to get everything out pretty well. Ooh. No cloak for the Banshee, but he will still be able to get a few kills. Looks like he's going to get about 3. And then we'll end up backing up. BYUN on the other side, though, continuing to kind of sit around. And I don't know. Does he just wait for more units here? He's going to send across his Raven. Start throwing down some turrets, maybe? Okay, decides not to. Okay. Oh, BYUN seeming kind of indecisive right now. Reaper will make its way in for Maru. Gets a scout on the third base. We'll actually deny this and delay it. There we go. Does end up getting killed off, though, by the Reaper. Or, excuse me, by the Cyclone. And there we go. Third CC is now done for Maru. And we'll be able to start flying it off while as BYUN's still trying to build his own. And it's really been this kind of interesting where it's been mainly just pokes from both sides. Hasn't been any full commissions or anything like that, or, you know, pressure. It's really just kind of been sit back, you know, maybe be out on the field a little bit, and then just kind of push. I like it. Scan does go down. Maru able to see. Third base is not yet done. And it looks like BYUN does want to push across the map. Maru will see this, though. And should be in position. He's already got tanks in a good spot. He's got the Ravens. He's got Vikings. He's got everything that he really needs to defend against us, right? Man, he's really sieging up far back, too. Ooh. Banshee, though, going to be able to get another 2 kills before it is eventually killed off by the Cyclone. Third base will be taken here for BYUN behind this. Go. Now, the scan actually reveals where the army is. And we'll see if it will continue to play on there. Alright, Cyclone and the Reapers coming through. Tanks and everything still in position as BYUN still wants to try to pressure this. But right now, Maru has that tank count advantage. He's got the Ravens. He's got a few Marines. But he has a very solid defense so far. BYUN, though, is closer to maxing out. And actually has the better army overall. Beautiful. Oh, man. He's got the Viking count as well. Ravens trying to get out of position. Marines trying to come in and help here for Maru. And there we go. So BYUN is going to get himself re-sieged up at the top. Was able to kind of push in for a little bit, but somehow Maru's still able to hold on with his position. Now, if we look at the units tab, Maru does have one more Viking, which could help him keep the skies to himself. And he also has... Oh, okay, they both have both Ravens. The other Raven was hiding. And there we go. Ooh. The tanks, though, going to start sieging up to this low ground. Finally, we will see the Marines build themselves up to the front. Siege. The tanks are going to siege up once again up at the top, but it might be a little bit too late as BYUN starts pushing in to this to the main, excuse me. And the production here from Maru starting to fall. Now Maru trying to scramble to find something, but BYUN is just too much right now. He's going to try to attack up to the top, but unfortunately that is well more guarded. You see a couple of factories going down, but now with the tanks coming into the main base, it will eventually shut anything else down. SCV is going to get pulled. The Marines trying to get on top of the tanks, but with the tanks on the low ground, the Marines here from Maru going to fall. 12 SCVs fall in the process, and it looks like BYUN will end up doing pretty well. He's going to go ahead and start sending the rest of his units across the map. The Viking does end up cleaning up the tanks down here at the bottom, but BYUN finding himself in a really good position. He's going to go ahead and pick up with all of his units. And does he go back into the main? I think that is very possible. At the same time, looking to go up to the third and attack it. And here we go. BYUN coming in with the tanks, with the Marines, sieging them up instantly. There we go. He does have to be careful a little bit here. But it looks like Maru going to be forced to pick up tanks, going to re-siege. This could be the opportunity. But BYUN going to sit back. +2 armor is done for Maru. But +2 weapons is going to be done for BYUN. Actually, +2 weapons for Maru is done as well. And it looks like the Marines going to be too much, and BYUN will get the game won. GG's. Alrighty, go ahead and jump into game number 2. It is going to be on Jagannatha. A big map with lots of accelerator zones. We'll see what ends up happening. Let's jump into it. All right, here in the top right hand corner in the red, give it up for BYUN. And in the bottom left in the blue, it's the Terran player known as Maru. All right, so last time we saw BYUN get very aggressive early on, we saw him continue to put the pressure onto Maru. Maru did try to do a couple of things with like a Banshee and, you know, some Hellions, a Reaper, Cyclones, all of that standard stuff, but BYUN was just able to defend a little bit better. He kept the pressure at the front of Maru, and then we eventually saw him shut down Maru pretty hard there and shut down his production. Will we see something like that similar in game number 2? Both players opening up that double gas will allow them to go a little bit heavier into tech, especially, you know, wanting to get Ravens, wanting to get tanks. Having that extra gas is going to help out. Now, BYUN going to go for the second supply depot pretty early on here. It does look like Maru now will go for that, but we saw in the previous game how he went into factory, then he went to expansion, and it was like right before he became supply blocked, he then went ahead and made that depot. So already a little bit of a difference coming into the next game. Now, in this series, Jagannatha is definitely a bigger map. So a lot of times we do see proxies coming in, but this time no proxies as of yet. Maru does look around to see, you know, is there any kind of proxy racks going on? But BYUN not doing that. Maru not doing any of his own. We actually see the expansion coming down for BYUN behind this. Ooh, gets the SCV. So already, Maru very delayed in his CC building. He's going to be going into double Hellion. Behind us, getting the starport. I think he goes into Tech Lab again. Right? It seems like Maru likes to go into that Banshee play. Behind this, we do see BYUN getting the mine, going into the Marines eventually. And yeah, I mean, his CC is going to be finished well before Maru's, so he will be able to start building that economic lead. And Maru, not necessarily having to play defensive, but he does have to kind of watch out and see, you know, what does BYUN do? Alrighty, so after a couple of Hellions, it does look like we will see Maru switching back, going into the Tech Lab, and we'll start going into that Cyclone production. Alright, Reaper going to come in here. We'll actually see this push once again. Will force... Ooh. Okay. Not bad, not bad. We saw BYUN wanting to go for another drop, but not going to be able to. But at the same time, he's going to come in with his own Hellions. Now, mind you, there is no tank here. So they are going to be able to start roasting up a few of these SCVs. Medevac will go down, but not before 9 SCVs go down. 10. Eventually does get cleaned up, and a very well worth it attack here from Maru as he pushes himself ahead in the worker count, and it definitely makes up for the delayed CC. Now, both players are going into Ravens, going into tanks and the Marines, and already Maru knows that there is a possibility for a drop to come, seeing that medevac, and he automatically puts that Cyclone out in the corner and says, hey, I want to make sure that I am protected against any kind of drop. And BYUN going to be taking a third base potentially. I mean, he's setting himself up in a defensive position on the third, so definitely could see something like that coming through. Marine going to be coming out, and we actually gets killed off, but he does see that there is a mine. I love this so much from BYUN. I just want to take a moment to like recognize it. The little Widow Mine plays are just so cool. Moving them, respawning them somewhere else. This one will get eventually cleaned up. Potentially. Nah. There we go. Scan does go down. Sees that there's no third base yet. At least up in the top. BYUN is taking a third base already, though, on the spot. Additional barracks coming through as the CC finishes up for Maru. We see BYUN pushing across the map, looking to potentially get aggressive. I think he wants to try to cancel like a third base down here, but there's nothing here right now. But also, it's like a really good position to start pushing in, right? You can set up down here, start attacking into the mineral line and stuff like that. So we will see. Vikings and the Ravens going to be looking for any drops up at the top, and BYUN just kind of hanging out. These tanks are going to re-siege. There we go. Third, we'll go up to the northern location. There is a Cyclone and the Hellion and Reaper, so looks like this will get a little bit denied, but actually Maru just going to go ahead and pounce and move up to this top location. Does that give BYUN the opportunity, though, to start pushing into this, though? And it does look like he is going to, but already Maru sieged up pretty well. So yeah, he's just going to return back home. Does not want to overextend. Stim is done for Maru. It is now being done for BYUN. And we just see BYUN out on the map being active, just trying to see if he can put some pressure onto Maru any bit without being too over defensive, I guess. Alright. Looks like Maru does want to eventually take a 4th base down here. BYUN just sending a couple of Marines to scout, see what's going on. Will eventually get cleaned up. It gives a scan, sees where the army is, and looks like he wants to get into a good position onto this 4th base, into the natural. He's got to be careful, though. He doesn't want to lose too much. Yeah. At the same time, nice little attack into the main. Kills off a couple of SCVs. Nothing too crazy. And, yeah, I mean, he is able to supply block Maru. But that's about it at the moment. Alright, BYUN going for another drop, but it does look like Maru is ready to somewhat push out. He's going up to the top, which is actually really crucial, considering that we do see this medevac drop coming. Instantly, BYUN going to go ahead and drop everything. So, going to get essentially picked off here. And we will see BYUN trying to decide what he wants to do. I mean, the 4th base is going to start getting attacked. Eventually, will get canceled. As he makes another one. Okay. Trying to do a little bit of a wraparound onto this attacking force, but I don't know. BYUN just all over the place right now. He does have the tank count, though. But Maru, again, not really having to do much. I mean, BYUN's just kind of throwing his units at Maru. BYUN finally going to clean up the rocks. We'll give him a little bit better pathway down here to the 4th base, as Maru is sending a small force across the map, trying to potentially get some damage done. Scans around, sees the rocks are still intact, and it looks like BYUN will scan up to the front again, trying to find where everything is at. But here comes BYUN. Go ahead and siege the tanks up. Does take a couple of pot shots with the tanks. Does he back up again? See, this is the thing we've been seeing from BYUN. He's going to try to attack at the front, but again, there's so much protection, defense coming out here from Maru. That's really been this case where BYUN just kind of comes in, he pokes, doesn't fully commit, and then he decides to kind of go in, or at least back up. Here we go. Going to get into the 3rd base of BYUN. Maru pushing forward. It will force BYUN back home, but will it be too late? The Marines trying to get on top of the tanks, able to kill a couple, but now BYUN in a lot of trouble. Forces the pickup, but the CC does go down. 17 SCVs go down as well. Finally, we see the Ravens coming in, locking down the tanks, but the Marines still pushing in, still holding strong. A beautiful IEM, or anti-armament missile goes down and will force Maru back. But has he done the damage? He has shut down a crucial income spot for for BYUN. Now BYUN will start making his way across the map, or at least starting to push out a little bit. I don't know. I don't think he needs to fully commit to this, but it looks like he is ready for an attack. He's going to start moving across. Everything is pretty cleared. He does get a scan off, sees that the tanks were not sieged up as he's trying to find into his own lane, but the Viking count here is insane for Maru, and he will end up backing up, and the scan wars are going off. Looks like he's going to pick up everything that he can and start moving down to the bottom, but oh no, Maru is in position. Is he going to be able to pick this off? Looks like he is going to be able to get on top of it. BYUN needs to siege up, but it gets instantly shut down. And now BYUN running back with the feet, with his tail in between his legs. And it looks like he is going to try for a little bit of a counterattack. Gets a couple of shots off, but that's going to be about it. As this attack force still continues up to where the third base was. And now BYUN has to kind of answer, do you go across, do you come back? And it looks like his answer is across. There's still tanks and stuff here, but maybe if he can get the retreat, that would be the juiciness for him. But it looks like that's going to be happening. Behind this, Maru is getting the energy for the Ravens upgrade. Corvid reactor. As this fourth base of the CC going to be taken out from the tanks. Another anti-armament missile going down on BYUN's army. That's going to get totally shredded up here. Maru picking up and moving back once again. Now, BYUN does have a pretty good tank count here. He does have the tank lead, in fact. But Maru just definitely outplaying BYUN in the position game. And BYUN, a little bit of desperation, trying to move across to get into a decent position, but Maru close behind. The Vikings going to eliminate a lot of the potential here. Tanks going to siege up. Ravens are starting to get a little low, but he should have enough to kind of lock down some of these tanks. But Maru going to continue to push forward. We'll get on top of a few tanks. Has to be careful though. Again, BYUN has this tank count advantage. He can't just throw himself, especially with the ones unsieged. Here we go. Tank's going to get locked down. Finally, the fourth tank will go down as the tanks for Maru start moving forward to siege in. At the same time, the tanks for BYUN going to unsiege. Try to pick up, but the medevac goes down. And here comes Maru. The Liberators getting on top of everything. And I think Maru will start pushing this back. It looks like BYUN wants to do a little bit of a drop, or maybe just have something going on here, but he hasn't been able to get any damage done, unfortunately. High-sec auto tracking is done. And we do see +2 vehicle weapons being done for Maru, which will allow these Ravens to be even more potent. Just shutting down all of the tanks. And here we go, Marines stemming forward. The tanks will go ahead and siege up. The anti-armor missile goes down. And Maru pushing forward at 191 supply to 142. There's a little bit of a drop down here at the bottom. We'll force a pickup, but with the tanks there, will be more than okay. The Marines getting on top of Maru's army. He will be forced back once again. And there we go. Marines starting to go forward. BYUN has to do something here if he wants to make a comeback, but what can he do? Another anti-armament missile goes down. GG's. And Maru gets the victory. Tying things up 1-1. GG's. All right, let's get into game number 3. It's going to be on submarine, so definitely a shorter map. And we will see if who will overcome who. It's definitely been back and forth on both of these players. Let's find out. Alrighty, without further ado, in the bottom right, in the blue, playing as the Terran pieces. Give it up. It is Maru. And in the top left, in the red, it is BYUN. Alright. So, game number 3 here is a crucial one, right? BYUN needs to do something. Really felt like he got kind of outplayed, but it was more of he was so. It felt like he was very indecisive. Like he was like, okay, I want to attack in here. No, I don't. I want to attack. No, I don't. I want to attack in. No, I don't. Okay, let me commit here. Oh man, I'm in a bad position. So I think he needs to be a little bit more decisive. It was unfortunate because in the early game, his initial drop got detected pretty early on, and Maru was able to get a lot of damage done with the Hellions. And it just kind of set BM back into the late game, right? So we'll see here in game number 3, can he make the adjustments and maybe overcome against Maru? Reapers on the way for both sides, and both players have been opening up pretty similar through each side, or through each game. So we will see here. SCV for Maru returning back home, and we see the Reaper for BYUN just kind of scouting around, wants to see, is there any proxies, but also wants to go across, maybe pick up a couple of SCVs if possible, but will be met by the Reaper of Maru. Yeah. There we go. Maru going to start giving a chase. The second Reaper is out now for BYUN, though. Looks like he's going to go ahead and hold off. BYUN will eventually go into this kind of Reaper Hellion style that he has been doing. This time going for a second Hellion. Starport on the way. And there we go. Ooh, Maru gonna get a good shot here. We'll end up losing one of his own Reapers to BYUN's Reaper. And, yeah, I mean, eventually they are going to heal up, but with the additional Hellions joining forces, will force Maru back. Now, Maru is going into Marines. He does have a Cyclone and going into a Medevac behind this, so should have enough to defend against this. But we'll see, right? BYUN definitely going to be able to kind of keep the pressure. There we go. Alrighty, Medevac is now out. Zooming across the map, as it does look like Maru wants to put on a little bit of pressure. Does he fly into the main, though? This is going to be a Raven follow-up for BYUN. Both players are pretty much even in supply at the moment as well. Third CC on the way. Maru going to drop into the main base. Yeah, I like it. We'll see that third base finally come back down for BYUN. Maru, on the other hand, still on 2 bases. Looks like he will eventually take a third. But I like it. He's going to be set up. He's got his Raven on the way. He's still doing some damage into the main, delaying that expansion once again from BYUN. And it is keeping BYUN on the defensive. Alright, Reaper going to come in. Once again, getting some scouting. Will eventually fall. And now we see Maru starting to potentially push out here. I think he is. I think he's just going to go ahead and go across at this point. No. Just going to play defensive. I mean, the thing about Submarine, too, is like there's so many little choke points and little pathways to take. And really good advantages, right? You can come down here with your tanks, shoot into the natural. You can come up here. And we see this utilized a lot. Kind of coming up this angle and dropping into the main, essentially. And it looks like that is going to be the cause here for Maru. He does scan, sees this army moving across, just a small force. The tanks are going to start moving up as well. Actually going down here to the bottom. This is a perfect opportunity, actually. Oh, the Ravens and the Vikings going the wrong way as well. The tanks are going to siege up here for Maru. The Ravens for Maru coming in as well. Is a tank... Oh. Maru will eventually lose the Marines here if he's not careful. Tanks resieging, trying to get on top of this. Will eventually back up, but the tanks here for Maru is still going to hold strong. The Vikings will eventually allow this back. And there we go. So far, 4 SCVs have fallen for BYUN. And Maru just going to return back home. Alright. Raven will go down for BYUN, and we will see Maru again just trying to find a good angle to attack into this as the third base has been taken. And this time BYUN is having to play super defensive, but Maru eventually going to return home. Does have that third base fully saturated basically. +1 on the way. Stim is now finished up for him as well, adding on additional barracks. BYUN trying to add on additional barracks, but he keeps having to cancel them to get out, you know, other things. Will that play an importance here as Maru continues to pull ahead? Does have the Viking count. He's got a couple of medevacs to heal. His tank count is pretty superb, 7 to 6. And he's going to start pushing towards this third once again. There is a sensor tower coming up, so Maru will be spotted here. Does that pull the trigger for him? Alright, couple of lockdowns will happen as he starts pushing into this. The Vikings will go down for BYUN. The tank's starting to crumble as well for Maru. Now the other tank is going to finally get unsieged here, or unbroken. And now this concave from Maru is just devastating the Vikings. Going to work on the third base, trying to get healed up by the SCVs. But it looks like it might be a little too much. Finally, the Marines coming forward. Maru repositioning himself, coming down. The Vikings will eventually take care of that orbital. Or does it? These SCVs are just repairing their hearts away. There we go. Another skin does go down. The tank's going to come in. The Vikings going to try to lock down anything and give sight. Oh, the Raven lockdown just in the nick of time. We'll shut it down. Eventually, that orbital does fall, and GG. As Maru takes the victory.